Today, I'm going to be going through 5 benefits of going on a vacation with a tour agency. You know the one. It's the one where you go with complete strangers and you might be alone or with 1 or 2 of your friends. There's a lot of groups like this, and there's a lot of things to consider as to why you would want to go on this type of trip. So the first benefit that I've noticed has been the idea of planning. You know, we spend a lot of time planning for our vacations. There's all of the different locations, excursions, transportation, and hotel planning that you have to do. And that is a total hassle. Not to mention, knowing about the areas and where is safe and where is not safe is also key to planning your trips. So think about the amount of time that you're spending planning a vacation, and if you were to assign an hourly rate to that, you'd be spending a lot of your money actually going through and doing a lot of the preparation. Now, some people love having to go through and plan these different trips, and that works for them. But if you're very busy and you're working, it's often best just to leave it to professionals and go ahead and let them plan all of the details and jump on board and just have a good time. And a reminder, go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you can keep up with this video and others like it in the future. So let's talk about planning flights. Now, most recently, I actually paid a tour agency to go ahead and book my flights for me. Now, this was incredibly convenient because I tried to look at doing it myself and I really couldn't do it for that much cheaper. They have great connections with the airlines, and they can get you some good deals. You might pay about a $50 premium on what you can actually go and book the flights for yourself. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if they're booking the flights, you really have to go with what their itinerary is. We found that on our last day, we had to leave super early in the morning when we could have actually spent the rest of the day had we planned accordingly. So if you do go this route, just make sure that you check with the flights that you have, and if you can afford to have another day there with a later flight, you might want to consider asking the tour agency to go ahead and do that. Transportation. So having a larger group of people allows you to have a tour bus instead of having to worry about renting a car. And if you do rent a car, you have to get the insurance, you have to worry about the local laws that might impact your travel. And if something does happen, you have to be sort of willing to take on that responsibility if something goes wrong. As an example, I was traveling in Colombia and we were on the road. We had an oncoming car hit our car just barely, but for us as the tourists, we didn't have to deal with any of the negative impacts from that actual collision. And we just sort of went about and continued our vacation while the drivers had to go ahead and work out who was responsible. Up next is daily preparation. Now, when we're on vacations, when we have to go ahead and do all of the planning for our trips, we spend a lot of time setting up our next day's activities. When you travel with a group, you don't have to worry about any of that. You have an ambassador that goes and they plan all of the activities, the transportation, the parking ahead of time so that you don't have to worry about it. You're fully enabled to enjoy your time while you're in country, not thinking about what you have to do next. You just kind of go with the flow and hit that next destination. The biggest benefits that I've seen with traveling with a group is that the guides know when to go to different destinations. This means that they are going to be avoiding the main traffic for tourists going to a specific destination. Now, this does mean that you might be getting up a little bit earlier than what you had wanted to on vacation, but it is worthwhile because you're going to get to the destination kind of at the right time, sometimes with the right setting. I've seen some beautiful sunsets, and I have seen some great, sunrises to where you really do appreciate it. An extreme example of this was when hiking in Peru, the Inca Trail, and getting up at about 3 a.m. to make sure that we were in line to be able to get to the Sun Gate as the sun rose by Machu Picchu. Now, that's extreme, it sucked, but it was worth it in the long run. Now, this next one I really like, and that is camaraderie. One thing that goes without saying is that traveling alone sucks. And traveling with a small group means that, you might not get the opportunity to have as much fun as you would like to. Traveling with a big group, on the other hand, creates an opportunity to have experiences with new places, new cultures, and new people as a shared experience with others who often have a common goal of being able to explore the world. What's more, travelers have some amazing stories, and they can inspire you to go to different destinations that you had no idea existed before. An example of this would be on one of our groups had done sort of research into traveling to Antarctica, and it's really led me to want to pursue going to go and have that as a destination. So there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in to some of these ideas behind why you would pick a larger tour group versus going at it alone. I hope you have found some information useful here. If you do find it useful, go ahead and hit that subscribe and notification bell. And that'll keep you tuned in to some of the videos that I'm going to have in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a good one.